Hey folks, how's it going?
What's up?
I'm in Oakland. I'm in Oakland. I'm gonna sleep in Oakland and probably I want to say that I wanted to say I'm in Oakland. I'm gonna sleep in Oakland and I'm probably gonna get robbed. I wanted to say that, but I know that's probably not gonna happen. Most likely that's not gonna happen. There's some good light. Oh, that's pretty good. Um yeah, how's it going everyone? I think this is something like day 23 of my 30-day make one video per day challenge. It's something like that. We're getting up there. That's not really day 23. It's really, you gotta subtract 6. So it's like day 17, but still it's more than halfway done. And it's getting to be more of a routine now. And like I said in the beginning, after a while it will be painful not to do it. I've already felt that a couple times where it gets to be late, and I want to, I feel like I want to go to bed, but I remember that I got to make my video, and it's not so much that I feel like I got to make a video. It's not like that. It's once I remember it, I just know I have to make the video, and there's no doubt or hesitation or uh, there's no back and forth about whether or not I'm actually going to make it. That's not even a consideration, which is good. That means that my subconscious is set and it's going to happen regardless, which means it's out of my conscious area of control. That means that's the idea where you exert a little bit of willpower in the beginning stage when you're building your habit, and you go through a little bit of pain for the first few days, for the first 10 days, first 15 days. And then, once it kicks in and becomes routine, it's not painful anymore. This is why when we talk about willpower and how we have a limited supply of willpower, that's true. You cannot force yourself to do more than a certain limited finite amount of things. You only have there's an amount. You will hit that amount, and then yourself or your body or whatever will rebel, and you won't do it anymore. You'll rebel against your own rules, and you'll kick yourself out as taskmaster. And so just be mindful of that. Okay? Yeah, I might get shot. Who knows? The topic of the day, I don't know if I mentioned it yet, but the topic of the day is stories. Okay? Stories. Stories, when I say stories, I don't mean stories that you read in the books, but I do mean that too. What I mean is the stories that we tell ourselves about our own lives every single day. The stories that manifest this world around us. We may not think that's what's happening, but that is what's happening. At least that's what's happening as far as I can tell it. We're telling ourselves stories, and that's what keeps this thing going. If we weren't telling ourselves stories, then we wouldn't have reasons to do things, and we wouldn't move ever. I mean, you can verify this really simply. Just look at what you're doing right now. You can always tie it back to a mental framework or a mental reason. There's always a mental reason for the action that you're taking now. You can always say, well, I'm doing this. You're gonna quote an action, and then you're gonna say, and I'm doing this because of this. You're gonna quote the reason. And that's a story. Right? So me, for instance, what am I doing? My action, well, I'm doing a few things. One of the things is I'm sitting in my car after a day of work in San Francisco, right? I'm sitting in my car. So the action is not an action. I am making a video. That's an actual action. to me, but I'm sitting in my car and that's something that happened after the action. That's like a rest, but still that's a mental framework that makes sense to my mind. You see what I'm saying? The story has to be there, otherwise you're just floating around. If you have amnesia, that means you don't remember your story anymore, so you're lost. You've lost your bookmark. That's why sometimes people just, if they get dementia or amnesia, not dementia so much, but Alzheimer's, for instance, takes away your memory. And you're just wandering around. Like your body remembers how to walk, but your mind doesn't remember the story anymore. So you're just another bum walking around on the street. But you don't know that because you don't even have that story in your mind. You don't have that story of, I'm a bum walking around on the street. Maybe your consciousness isn't even there anymore. You know? Unless you're that person, you don't know. And then even if you are that person, you still don't know because you forgot your story. You see, that could be bad. It could also be good in a weird way. So stories we tell ourselves. We tell ourselves stories every single second of every single day. And if you're not telling yourself a story, then you're probably in trouble. And you're probably in trouble in some way. His story. It's built into the word, right? History, his story. Drake pointed that out in his lyrics. And honestly, until he pointed that out, I'd never thought of it, you know? I never thought of it before. And then I thought they should have a herstory. History and herstory, right? I'm sure they'd be those two tales would be quite different, I'm sure. And even in individual families, his story and her story are going to be very different, right? I don't know how much they collaborate on those, you know, the hubby and wife, or the girlfriend and boyfriend, or this brother and sister. I don't know how much they collaborate and compare their stories. But I imagine if they did, then they would be quite different, you know? So we live off of stories, you know. We tie in the stories to our physical sensations. And it's pretty simple. It's not that difficult to understand. But the important thing is that it is fuzzy back there. You know, talking about the past, of course, is fuzzy. And it's also fuzzy up there, talking about the future, of course. And the only place that's not fuzzy is right here in the present. And that's not fuzzy at all. You know, the objects are pretty clearly contoured. Sensations are pretty solid. You know, there's not a lot of ambiguity in the present moment. The ambiguity is in the past and the future. Okay? There's no ambiguity in the present. So, if you're interested in learning this material, and this is material, and I am teaching it, and if you have never heard of it, then I'm the teacher and you're the student, and you should take notes. Yeah? So, past and future, right? They're very, very blurry. We know that they can be fucked with, basically, a lot. People are very gullible anyway. And if you combine that fact with the other fact, which is that the past and the future are very blurry, they're not set in stone. The present isn't set in stone either. It's moving around all the time. So you have this moving thing that changes to the past, and this moving thing that somehow is related to something that might be, you know, which we call the future. The whole thing is wiggly and moving around and blurry. And yet, the history books, they take a few key events, as they call them, and these key events are tied to key important individuals. So there's some very important individuals making very important decisions, and all the kiddies have to focus on these important individuals and what these important individuals say, you know, about the past and how we arrived at the state that we're in our great nation, and how we're gonna triumphantly march into the future is more important than what Nana says about it, or what, you know, little Johnny, who's 2 years old, says about it. Um, you know, which is of course a load of horse shit. Usually the people who are in power and who are looked up to are the most boring motherfuckers on the planet. To me anyway, they're just, you know, there's more interesting people than those in power. To me. To me. I don't know about you. That's my story for now. But I can change that, of course. Just like you can put a different mask on for your Halloween party, you can put a different mask on for your personality party that you're having every single day. You can do that. It does involve pain, and it does involve a little bit of pain if you let go the idea that you are an identity. Okay, there's some pain involved there, but you can always acquire new identities, and you're always believing something or another throughout the day, and then you let go of that and you believe something else. So you're schizophrenic anyway. You know, we're all crazy, a little bit at least, some of us a lot. But you can take on new identities, you can drop old ones. And you're seeing people you don't know every day. They don't know you. All the stuff you're thinking in your head that they're thinking about you. Nope, they're not thinking that about you. They're thinking their own thoughts about their own selves. Oh, what's he thinking about me? And then over here, this person's like, what's he thinking about me? And none of them are actually, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's no connection there. It's just, yeah. But anyway, stories, were just stories. There's no solidity here. You know, life is not solid. It's just moving and very, very hard to understand. We paste the stories all over it, and we pack the roads down, you know, and we science everything. So we kind of try and solidify it, and we kind of do in a sense. But, you know, our descriptions and our paintings of the reality are they fall short, in my opinion. So anyway, that's my video for today. And I am in Oakland, as I mentioned earlier, and I might get shot. So if I do, then mwah, love you all. Love you family members who are watching and any strangers who are watching. And love you baby, love you Kim. I'm pretty sure I won't get shot, but if I do, then yeah, I'll be floating in the ether. All right. So coming up on 13 minutes, the topic again, stories, his story, her story. Leave your comments below. Like, comment, subscribe. Help grow the channel. Okay? All right. Good night, guys. Bye-bye.